Hi, everybody. I do hope there's a few of you out there. I am using my phone to see if you have questions for me. So bear with me a little bit. So tonight I wanted to share some of the tips that I've learned over the last few years, and hopefully it'll save you a little bit of time so you don't have to learn things the hard way like a lot of the rest of us did. So first I want to start off by talking about marketing. Marketing is a must. That is the biggest thing that you can do to find deals and to find private money people and find partners and anything else you need in this business, contractors, whatever. So there's a lot of ways that you can market. We do everything really, almost everything. This right here is the nickel ads. This is a little throwaway paper. It costs us, like $7 a ad to do it. But you can go cheaper depending on what you say or what you want in there. Sometimes they're called Thrifty Nickel and other little names like that. But they're pretty cheap. They're free for people, and they just pick them up and browse through them. So I have 7 or 8 ads running in that all the time. We buy houses and our phone number. The other thing that we do is we do postcards. I love postcards. Right now we have 4 deals pending, and we did 4 deals last month. I'm going to say a week ago. One was from a postcard like this. I don't know if you can really see it very well, but it just has our address on it. And on the other side, it says, if I knew how to put these up on a screen, I would do it. But it's just a little simple thing that just says I'm a local investor and I buy houses. And if you're interested, please call me. Now, that one, we probably get a 2 to 4 deals a month on these. But each time, the last one we did, we made $20,000 on. And this one that we're currently doing now, it was 2 duplexes that we bought at about 30% off fair market value. They're fully rented and need nothing. So really, it was a pretty good deal. It's a great buy and hold, add to our portfolio. All the rents are low, so they're going to cash flow a lot better once by attrition we raise those rents. The other little thing that I like to do, and this is called a mini bandit sign. But it's just a simple little sign. I buy houses and our number. You can put these absolutely anywhere. Inside a book, inside a newspaper. I'm good at doing that. I can put them. You can put them on any kind of notice board you find anywhere, in the hospital, in a doctor's office, the eye doctor's office, attorney's office, anywhere you're at. Most markets, most Safeways or grocery stores have some type of billboard somewhere. All you got to do is find it. And sometimes you just have to ask them. Most of the mini marts have those type of boards. But anywhere you can think of, because if they find them, they're going to read them. The other thing we do is a lot of flyers. These we put up in all laundromats. And you notice they're all cut up here so people can take the telephone number off. Any laundromats, another board in a mini mart or a grocery store, or anywhere there's bulletins posted, you can put that. Now, one of our cities here that we post in or we hunt in has a bulletin board, 8-sided cork board, and anybody can put whatever they want in it, and it's right outside of the city hall. So I plaster that thing as much as often as I can. It's always important when you do get a lead to ask where you're getting your where they saw your name, how they found you, because that means that one's working. And maybe your bandit signs or something like that will work better in some neighborhoods where it doesn't in others. One of the latest things that we're doing is this little guy. This is a bus ad. This is a city bus here in Longview, and it says we buy houses, our phone number. This costs $400 a month. I have 3 buses running around. We've received 5 calls, and we have a pending deal right now. And that deal right there is fair market value. It needs absolutely nothing. It's rent ready. We probably won't even do anything. Fair market value is $90,000. We have it under contract for $49,000, and like I said, it needs nothing. So that's almost a 50. It's close to a 50% discount. So very, very worth it, the $400, because that's about what you figure. Do the math. It's $40,000 of profit that we're making from that one deal. The latest thing we've started doing is radio ads. I got a pretty good deal on this. It's $2,000 for the year. We have 20 spots running every day on 3 local stations. And what they're doing is getting our name out there. We say we buy houses. It also promotes my property management company. But, you know, sometimes you got to spend a little money. But as you start making the money, you can justify doing that. So since we started the radio ads, we've probably picked up 30 units, 3 this week, just from that. So it's good to keep your name out there, because you got to get your name out there. The more they see you, the more comfortable they are with you. It's just like a Kleenex brand, or you know, Oreo cookies. The more you see it, the more people are comfortable, and the more they trust that. Just seeing that, it's called branding. So very good to get your name out there. But these are really cheap. There's no reason why you can't do that. And these are really cheap also. There's a lot of places you can buy templates, or you can, get templates. Also, I could probably have them put some of my templates up there that if we put it in a Word doc, you really wouldn't have to change very much. And you could start using them. But, you know, the ream of paper is, what, $3. So all you got to do is find somebody to print it for you. Anyway, marketing is very, very important. You've got to get it out there. You got to get your name out. You got to let people know what you're doing. I'm always talking about letting people know what you're doing and telling your story, because you have to do it. If they don't know who you are, or where you are, or what you do, how are they going to find you? Now, the bus ad deal that we just got under contract, she was very skeptical. She called, and I called her back, because it goes right to a voicemail. And she said, "Oh, I can't believe this is real." And she started laughing, and she said, "I didn't think anybody would even call me back." Well, I was the only one to show up to buy the house. She'd placed it on Craigslist after she talked to me, and, "Oh, I have a whole bunch of people coming," but nobody showed, just us. So Dan and I, you know, met the lady. It was an estate, very good, very nice lady, and we'll be buying the house. So good mojo. Just remember to tell your story. Get it out there. There's other ways you can market, is TV ads or billboards. However, those are both pretty expensive, so you better be making some money to pay for those deals. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was different ways to find deals. Well, of course, your marketing is going to help you, but networking with other people is going to help you too. So policemen, I'm, of course, working in the emergency department. I kind of got a little foot in there. Most of the policemen here locally know me. So I was at a meeting here locally, an apartment association meeting, and I told the officer that was speaking, "Hey, you know, I'm buying houses. If you run into anybody that really wants to sell their house, just give them my name, and we'll come look at the deal and hopefully take the house off their hands." I haven't got any under contract yet. I haven't purchased any, but I have been getting calls from her about people that want to sell their house. So, you know, it only takes one deal to make it worthwhile, right? So we just keep getting the name out there. Also, firefighters, your mailman. Our contractors, if they see a for sale by owner, will write it down and give it to me. Our maintenance crew will take pictures of a sign and the address and send them to me. Pick up flyers and send them to me. So anybody that you know that they know you're in the business, they're going to tell you about leads. My sister-in-law, she with her church group, she knows a few people that are wanting to sell. She gives them my name. So you never know where the lead's going to come from, and you have to be open, and you can't think that you're only going to do it one way and you're only going to get leads one way. Driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is a money maker. You need to do it. Not only will it bring you leads because you're watching the market, you're watching the neighborhoods, you know what's going on in the area, you know what's getting worse, what's getting better, but you have to learn your area and the street names. That way you can put it together with less research, and it will save you a lot of time. If you know your area, you know it's 123 16th Avenue, you know that is a terrible place. You don't want any deals down there. That's the ghetto. You would rather have 335th Court. So those are the things that you need to learn when you're doing your driving, and farm those markets. You can tell what's going on, and plus, if you have rentals, you can drive by them. If you're remotely investing, you have to depend upon your team out there. They can still give you leads, and they can still watch that market for you. And if you're telling them that this neighborhood here, like my area, there's an area called St. Helens area, I want anything I can buy there. So I'm watching that all the time. So if you're talking to your contractors, your remote team, and you're telling them anything in that area I want, then they should be able to tell you about that because they're the ones driving around. Another thing that has really kind of popped up here for me locally is the MLS, making offers on the MLS. So we're taught to make offers on vacant properties that have been on the market for a while, anything that says motivated or anything else. And one of those things is being back on the market. This is a very active market. There's a lot of, and pretty much nationwide by what I've been seeing, is this is a very active market, and people are wanting to get their stuff sold. And so those people that are really needing to get out of their situation, whatever that may be, when their house goes from pending to back on the market, they're very motivated. 80% of my offers that are being accepted here recently have been offers that have came back, or properties that have came back on the market. As soon as they come back on the market, if it's anything I like, I make an offer right then, that day. And that seems to be the key, is making that offer immediately. That first day, not giving them any time to think about it. Here's another offer. Well, heck, that last one fell through. I might as well accept this one. And we're getting a discount. What we're doing right now is we're trying to get all in repairs, closing costs, everything with a minimum of 25% discount, as long as the rents can cover that mortgage payment. So that's what we're trying to do, and we're closing lots of deals right now and have 4 more to go this month. I wanted 2 a week. I only got 6 that'll close in July. So darn it, I needed 2 more. So August, I'm going to get 8. That's my goal anyway. So tell your real estate agency you're working with that you want to see every back on the market every day. They should be able to set it up so it goes immediately to you. It emails to you when something comes back on the market. That way you can take immediate action and tell them I want this. And hopefully you're working with somebody that doesn't care if you see it, and you'll just say, hey, offer $50,000 on this house. This is what I want. That's how you should handle that. Not to say that the vacants and the other methods aren't working. It's just back on the market. It seems to be going pretty well for us right now. So other things I wanted to talk about was deals. I just lost my paper. Oh, excuse me. So one thing when you're putting these deals together, you need to be creative. Being creative, creativity is your friend. This is not a cookie cutter business. None of them are going to be exactly the same, and nor should you expect them to be the same, because it's not going to happen. Every deal is different. Every deal has some little nuance that happens right before you're ready to close that you've never heard of before. So expect that. Don't let that get you down. Don't be a Debbie Downer. That's just part of your learning, because just anticipate something is going to try to go sideways right before you close. Happens every time. The last 2 deals we closed, our appraisal didn't come in before, just hours before we were supposed to close. I mean the day of. They finally got it at 11 o'clock. We had to close by close of business. And finally they got it by 11:30. The lenders saw it. They gave approval at 2 o'clock, and we barely closed before 5. And it was a little bit stressful, but as I've learned and gotten more educated, I don't get quite as stressed out like I used to. Because I used to, I would break down and start crying because I was so upset that this deal wasn't going to close, and I worked so hard on it, blah, blah, blah. Well, it does get easier. So just don't, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it. I am, you know, I'm not anything special as far as, you know, I'm especially not like any of the big guys around here. But, you know, we're making it happen, so you can too. So your creative deals, you got to, like I said, remember that you need to be creative. It's not going to be cookie cutter. So the duplex deal that we just closed, it's 2 duplexes side by side on a corner lot. We closed that with private money, a little higher rate than I wanted. But it's okay. There's enough room there. So we did a 10% with 1 point for 9 months guaranteed, because our goal is to purchase this and then refi it out into a 30-year AM at you know, somewhere around closer to a 5% rate versus the 10% rate that we got. But this guy here, he's funded many deals for us, and he didn't even go look at the property. He just said, okay. So it was $220,000. We put no money into it, and he funded the whole deal. But you got to look at that. So what's your interest rate going to be? You can negotiate that up and down. Are there going to be any points? Yes, no, maybe. Do you have to have any meat into the game? Meaning, do you have to put some money up front? Because a lot of times when you're starting, you're going to have to come in with something down, 3, 5, 10, 20% down. And you know, if you don't have cash flow yet, that's hard to come up with very much money. But when you're starting, you might have to borrow that from somebody else to get the deal done. But you got to get the deal done, even if you borrow it. And as you get better at it, you're going to make more money at these versus in the beginning when you're paying higher amounts for the money you have to borrow. So many times we will buy a property. We'll get our private money person to fund the first on the house. So say, here's one we're doing right now. We purchased the house for $66,200, and we got that the first from a private money person. The second, for the rehab, we need 20 grand to borrow to do the rehab. So we're borrowing that at 10% for a year. I think a year or 6 months. 6 months, I believe, guaranteed interest. What that does is, because if you have it set up so that you can refinance it really fast, the secondary person is less likely to loan money if they're not going to make any money on it, because a lot of times they have fees to pay if they're pulling money out of their IRA or money market or wherever it's at. So they need to be able to at least cover those fees and make a little bit of money. So you have to make it worth their while to do business with you. So this is how we structure our deals when you don't have all the money you need to do the deal, because you got to do the deal. When we first started, we didn't have any kind of cash at all. So we would borrow maybe from 3 people to get a deal done, and then refinance those out. So you just have to, you can't think that one person's going to do it all, because when you start, they won't. You can't think that there's nobody out there that's going to do the second for you, because there is. You're going to have to pay a little bit more money, but you can still get the deal done. And if it's, you just got to keep it in your parameters. You don't want to have a house that is in private money for 5 years. You're going to lose lots of money doing that. You're eating up your equity. So you have to have an exit strategy of refinancing that out or selling it. Those are really your 2 options. You could always lease option a house if you wanted. That will give you a little bit of cash up front. But in this scenario, you really need to refinance it or sell the house. You could do a flip. We did one earlier this year. Talk about creativity. This was a bank-owned property, and we had to have 2 closings. It was very complicated. We ended up borrowing money from 3 people altogether, but we got the deal done, and we netted $48,000 on the house. So I like that. We'll do that again, but right now we're trying to buy and hold as much as we can. So just remember, you got to be creative. The other thing to do with the creativity is on your MLS deals. What I have found to get them to entice that seller to accept my offer. So you're taught that you want a 10 to 14 day inspection. You only want to put a little bit of earnest money down, and you want to get your closing out there as far as possible, right? And you want an inspection period, and you want the owners to make repairs maybe. So what I've been doing is negotiating those things with them so that they walk away and they have something. So the deal we just got under contract, this happens to be an investor gone bad. He let everything go back to the bank except for like 1 or 2, or not to the bank, to a private money lender, except for a couple. And this one he's got on the market, and I made a low offer. And he was very skeptical because he knows us, and he didn't want us to just tie the property up for 30 days and then fall through. So what we did to make this happen was we had a 5-day inspection period. We put down $500 earnest money that only was refundable if the inspection failed. After the approval of the inspection, it went to non-refundable. So if we can't fund for some reason, he does get to keep that $500. But that sold the deal for him. This house too is rent ready. It's totally been rehabbed. There's not a thing wrong with it. And we have it, its fair market value is $84,000, and we're picking it up for $55,000. So not a whole big discount, but it's rent ready. There's nothing for us to do, just put a tenant in it. So just negotiate on those terms. Sometimes, even with banks, I'll do a 3-day inspection. Usually, when it's that kind of a situation, it's best to kind of go look at it a little bit before you go and make an offer. But you have to negotiate on something. Another deal that we did, we put up, because it was a killer deal, we put up $2,000 non-refundable earnest money. That was a big risk. It was a risk that we had never taken before, but it sold the deal. We picked up the deal, and we got, I think it was like $70,000 off of the fair market value of that, the multi-unit. So, you know, there's just, you have to be open-minded and think about these and not get all caught up in it. When you're wholesaling, it's a whole different thing, because you have to have your outs, because you're not going to purchase it, right? When we're buying and holding, and this really works well for the buy and hold or the buy and fix and flip, is negotiating these terms within this contract. That way it gives them the sense that they have a little bit of power and they're getting their way some, even though it's really a moot point to the investor. So just remember to do the creative things, keep an open mind, because sometimes some agent's going to come back with you and with something you haven't heard of it. And so don't just say no. Consider all options. If it gets the deal done, then you should go ahead and look forward to doing that. So talking to private money lenders is very intimidating. I still have one private money investor that I get extremely intimidated by, and I'm not really quite sure why I do, except that he's very wealthy. But you have to talk to them, and the easier it gets, or the longer you do it, the easier it gets. So now I get a house under contract. I know I need some funds, so I just say, hey, so-and-so, this is what's going on. I have an opportunity for you to make some money, and me too. I'm looking for whatever the dollar amount is, and are you interested? Instead of feeling like you're begging for money, because we're really not begging for money. We are offering them the opportunity to make some money on their money, with their money, because we all know that sitting in a money market might be a little bit better than a savings account or your 401k or 403b or your IRA not making anything. I can tell you I still have some money in my 403b, and it made 2.5% last year. Well, that's not very good return for me. So of course, we're going to be pulling that out and doing something else with it. But you're giving them an opportunity to do something. Not only is it not making any money, but the stock market and bonds and stuff is pretty volatile right now. So we're seeing more people come pull their money out and buying real estate, because at least it's insured. Even if the house burns down, you're going to get something back. If you lose your fanny in the stock market, like we did back in 08, I believe it was, people lost millions of dollars with that, just because there's nothing tangible. If it's gone, it's gone. You're not going to have even the ground to rebuild a house. So that's the one reason why I really like real estate and want to buy as much as I possibly can. On another note there, my I don't know what they're called, the person that manages my 403b called me yesterday and tried to discourage me to use real estate, because it's just too risky, and the government's going to watch you, and then you could lose everything, and there's so many rules, you're going to have to watch it. Well, of course I know that. What he doesn't realize is I've been doing this a long time, and we're pretty solid with what we're doing with our portfolio. So that's the best way to go, buy real estate. That's why we're all here, right? Other things about private money people. Some people, these could be family members, and once you borrowed a couple times from them, they'll come back to you. Just the other day, one of the groomsmen of a person I know has $75,000 they want to invest and wanted to know if we could use it. So you never know where it's going to come from. A couple of our other people, you know, they'll keep coming back. Hey, I have another 10 grand. Do you want to do something with it? Well, 10 grand isn't going to do too much, but it will help rehab a house. So, you know, 10,000 is going to pay for a roof and all the carpeting. So that's, you know, you can't turn any of that down. You have to work out the numbers, see if it's going to make sense. And if it's going to make sense, then go ahead and take action. But they're just people too. So, and they love it. We have an older couple that we're dealing with that have done, I think 6 deals with now. They are just happy as clams because we're performing. And every time we call them, it's okay, fine. What do you want? And they just are all happy about it. We took them to one of our houses here recently, and they, okay, when are you getting the next one? We have some more money to invest, so let's go. So it's very comforting in our abilities to know that we are at that point to where people are confident with our skills. So you all can do that too. It's not rocket science. Dean has a great book out there for you to read. The recipe is there. All you have to do is take action. There's plenty of people to help you. Just reach out. Someone's going to tell you. Someone's going to show you, give you tips, and help you learn along the way. I am ready to know if anybody has questions. Well, that would be my granddaughter. But anyway, so let me get to that screen. Okay, so there you go. Bye, Jessica. Anyway, okay, so if I can get somebody to ask me a question, I think I'm can do it here. Maybe these secret tricks so we can see them. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if this is going to work well. Usually I have 2 computers set up, and I didn't do that today. So let's see. If you're putting deals together, the things you need to, you need to figure out what your rehab costs are going to be. Let's talk a little bit about that. So, of course, parts are going to be different in different locations. But like they say, go to Home Depot and try to figure out what things are going to cost. Get a couple contractor bids, and that way you're going to have it. Once you start doing it, you'll get those numbers in your head, and you can figure out what it's going to cost to rehab a house. If it's just lipstick ready, which is carpet, paint, maybe some appliances, maybe not, it's going to be pretty cheap. Easy turnover. You can usually get a carpet company to install your carpeting, and usually you can find a fairly cheap painter to paint. But if it's more of a rehab, then you're going to have to get a team. Now, as we all probably know, it's hard to find a good team. I've talked with a lot of our other DG friends on here, and they're all having the same problem of contractors not following through, or they get lazy after a while. And that's kind of what we experience is, after you've used them for a couple deals, then they kind of get lazy and don't want to perform, or they just don't show up. That just happened to us too. So you just have to, you got to know your own numbers so that you can watch these people, because they'll take advantage of you. So just go to Home Depot, price parts, take a look at it. If you're going to, carpeting for, say, 1,000 square feet is going to be somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000. A roof here is going to cost you somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000, depending upon the square footage and the pitch of the roof. If a roof is really pitched like so, then it's harder for them to work on, and they will charge you more because there's more labor involved. Because if they can just throw the old roofing off into a canister or one of those dumpster things, it's easier than if they have to just scoot it down. If they have to let it fall, then it knocks the gutters off. So it all can add up if depending upon that pitch. I just learned that. I didn't really understand that. Another thing to always check out is the foundation and where is the water going around a house. If there's water going underneath the house, you could have some foundation issues or structural issues or some sinkholes or things like that. If you're going to do a house that's you're going to change out all the lights, all the light switches, and maybe the doors, you're going to be upwards of more $15,000 or something like that. But yeah, this isn't going to work for me, I don't think. Sorry, guys. If Jeremy, if you could text me their questions, that might help, but it's not coming through here. I see Andy's out there, Sherry's out there. Hi, everybody. I'd love to answer your questions if I could right now. Any of these little flyers or anything that you want, I will try to get to you. If you message me on the IE site here, make sure you give me your email, because I can't attach anything here. At least I haven't figured out how. But if you give me your email, I can email you these templates too. It's not an issue. I have them. That's where they're at. So, oops. Remember, you got to promote your business every day. Tell somebody, put your business cards out there. There was a little bit of chat on the DG site here a while back about somebody that was saying business cards were a waste of your money. That is absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. I don't know how many times we've been called off an old business card about a deal that somebody stuck in their pocket and they kept. I put them everywhere, on top of gas pumps, in books, like they'd be in a marker, in a magazine. I leave them in the grocery store. I leave them anywhere I go. I give them away to whomever. Used to be going through a box of, say, 500, you know, every 3-4 months or something like that. I think somebody told me one time you should be going through them in 30 days. I'm not quite that giveaway, but you have to give them away because they do work. They absolutely do work. I've found buyers that way, and I have found deals that way. So if you don't have your business cards, you need to get them and get them out there. Let's see, what else can I talk to you about today? I can talk to you about, come on, Andy, send me a question. Has anybody done a deal out there? So I've told you about both, I think all 4 of my deals. Our other deal, the other deal we got was on a nickel ad, that throwaway newspaper, this little guy. And he saw our I Buy Houses ads. So we called him. I called him right away. He didn't think he'd get a phone call either, but he did. So we went to the address. Looked pretty good on the outside, not too bad. Turns out to be a 4-bedroom, 1 bath with a nice 2-car garage in the back, nice fenced lot. Half of the rehab is done, and this was a dad's house, so it's an estate they're selling. Fair market value is $135,000. Dan got it under contract today for $60,000. So it needs $20,000 in a work. We'll be in it for we'll be in it for, like, say 85-ish with the 3% of closing costs for us, and it's worth $135,000. So that's a pretty good profit right there. And what we will do with that is we'll turn around and refi it out 80% loan to value. So we'll get our rehab money back. We'll get most our purchase price back and make some cash to move on and do another deal with. And so I'm liking that strategy. That's what we seem to be doing quite a bit of here lately. So that was a nickel ad. I already told you about the bus ad. That we got. We have a bandit signs call that I got today. I haven't listened to the message yet. But I got 2 nickel ad calls today and 1 bandit sign today. So don't let anybody tell you marketing doesn't work. Get your stuff out there and find some deals and make some money. So everybody, it's been a pleasure. I wish I had a little bit more, but I don't. If you have any questions, please let me know. Donna saying goodbye, everybody.